Do you know that Michael Jackson copied a guy named James Brown? You may not know. Michael Jackson copied James Brown before he became the king of pop. When he started as a child, he was copying the moves of James Brown until he became confident enough to do his thing and to try his own tricks. Now, why should we be original when there is no single original person on earth? You might have your objection, but before you think about it, let me tell you, every single person here is a copy. Your father is the original, or your family, your parents are the original. Your DNA is a copy of your parents' DNA, and your parents' DNA was copied from your parents' DNA, and you see how it goes? So there is no single original person in this world. So when that teacher said, you should be original, she was being hypocritical because she wasn't even original. Now, before we move into the next round, which is a keynote speech, we'll be listening to a very wonderful speech from a veteran Toastmaster. He's been a Toastmaster for the past 11 years. If Toastmasters was not beneficial, I can tell you, after the first year or the second year, he could have backed out. But because of the tangible benefit of Toastmasters, he continued. Tonight, with a big round of applause, can we welcome on stage Toastmaster Kartik.
Can you switch on the light, please? And as mentioned in the agenda, it's 11, 13, and 15. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks. Wow. What a wonderful evening. A group of good people gathered for a good purpose, and this is exactly the place where we should speak about leadership skills. Because I remember a quote: behind every able person, there are many able people. And that's exactly true for alshirawi group of companies. When the man is 11,000 group of employees and 30 plus group of companies. And it all started with leaders like alshirawi and Mohan. And these guys have really put their vision into thought. And when I saw the website, it all says about their true values of honesty, compassion, empathy, transparency. These are exactly the keywords what we normally remember in every day-to-day life of Toastmasters, because these are the key skills any leader would like to inculcate in their team members. So I do see no difference between the growth of alshirawi club and even the Toastmasters themselves, because everybody is focused on leadership. And one more thing, which is a key aspect for any company today to survive, those are the companies which are successful today are the ones who invested on people. It's not on the assets, it's not on anything else. The persons or the companies who invested on people are the ones who are more successful in today's life. And I really see that positive energy in alshirawi leaders. They want to invest in people and groom their leaders. A big round of applause for all these noble. Now, have you ever thought there could be a boring person whom we ask them to take a group photo, and then you are so excited to take that photo and he feels so boring, like it just clicks like it. When you are in Kuala Lumpur, Petronas Towers, or Eiffel Tower, and then you just give him a snap, he just even don't bother about it. And the same guy, if you just ask him, come on, join us with a selfie, and then the emotions will bring up. There is a smile on his face. He is more enthusiastic and energetic. That's my take from selfie. Selfie is more successful just because everybody can see themselves. That brings energy. And that's exactly what I learned from Toastmasters. And today what I'm speaking about is how I invented new you in me using Toastmasters program. Without much delay, I have to lodge a couple of complaints here. Celestine, yes, sir. When you say it's a copycat, who is the copycat? The one who does first or the one who does second? Second. I have my slides ready. Most of the people steal the information already. Please don't call me a copycat. Yeah? Good. Okay. So let me talk about myself. I'm a graduate electrical engineer. I have done my master's with University of Manchester. 15 years experience in power and water generation, working for a company called LG. We do own and operate power plants across Middle East. And I'm into 7 years of Toastmasters, not 11 years. Age and experience is something I have to correct. I have to correct my experience here. Good. So with this background, what I'd like to say is just try to focus on the picture on this corner here. It's from 2014 where I hosted as an MC for people who were in an audience of 5,000 plus people, and the whole credit goes to Toastmasters. And I'd like to convey you and convince you at the end of my presentations that it all can happen within you and you all can maximize your potential. That's my keynote address summary this evening. Good. What is Toastmasters? Already covered more than thrice, but it's simply a fantastic organization that's been in service from last 95 years, and the people who are benefited from this program is getting added up every year in a higher proportion. On an average, it's 350,000 as of now. And then we have 100 plus clubs in all the 7 Emirates inclusive. That's the organization what we're speaking about in terms of UAE. Okay, so the Toastmaster Club experience, you know, it's a hands-on learning environment. It's not theoretical, it's a completely hands-on experience. And the practice, it comes in 2 ways of speaking. One is the way you prepare and speak, and the other one is impromptu. And that's exactly the table topic master will take care of in the demo meeting, followed by my presentation. And there is an opportunity to lead every meeting, because each and every meeting you'll get an opportunity to do a role, and by doing that role either you'll be listening, you'll be speaking, or you'll be giving a feedback to a person. So each and every role assigned in that particular agenda has a meaning to it, and it will add to your growth. It will only benefit you, right? And the most important topic of Toastmasters is about receiving feedback and giving feedback. That is one such a critical area where you can make or break heroes, you know. If you give a constructive feedback, you can really make successful people. If you give it in a harsh way, that's the end of the day. He or she is not going to attempt that particular task anymore with the same energy what she has done it first time. So that's the reason why feedback is very important, and the overall, you always or never be left alone. You always be given a helping hand, and that can be either in the form of a coach or a mentor. So that's the nutshell of Toastmaster Club experience. And you know, club mission is always to provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in self-confidence and personal growth. Did you see anything related to company or organization of Toastmaster? Anything here? Nothing. If you see, the whole mission is all about members. This is the only one organization in this world which is committed to its members' growth. That's the only objective for this company or the organization. So when I say that, I slightly drag you on to the next content. What you benefit from Toastmasters, you know? I do heard a nice word from Toastmaster Shoaib that says glossophobia. And glossophobia is something that is not tangible or intangible. But the count or the number of people who are suffering with this is 3 out of 4 people. That's 75% of the people afraid of public speaking or try to avoid expressing themselves. And what it happens in a company where they can't express ideas, all those innovative ideas will still remain in their brain, and they never get an opportunity to communicate. They don't feel confident. They just do routine things. They never try out of box. So it's a cascaded chain effect when they are struggling to express their confidence. So that is the key role in this Toastmasters, that you'll find a place where you'll improve your public speaking skills and then build your leadership skills. While doing all these roles in the meeting, you will become a leader. When you know how to give a feedback to your team members in a constructive way, you're already a leader. And you're not blaming them for the mistakes, you're encouraging them to do the mistakes, you know. And then unlimited personal growth, only the sky is the limit. Here I'd like to touch a very simple example. It's my good knowledge in science, if I studied right, any flea or a bee can really fly up to the height of 2 to 2.5 meters comfortably, you know. But if you try to capture that bee in a jar, which is hardly, this much of height, and then keep it for 6 to 7 months, every day it tries to come out, but then it can't because the lid is completely shut. And that's it. After the 7th day or 8th day, if you bring it to the normal environment, still it feel that is the maximum potential of it. It will never attempt to even try to go beyond the potential what it had tried before. That's exactly is the case of Toastmasters here. And here is the place where you can find your real potential. And I never thought in 2011 or 2004 when I started my career that I'll come here as a keynote address speech and I'll be delivering a group of audience or a group of leaders who has a vision to empower people. I never even thought of it because when I have given my first speech, the feedback what I got was, I can't understand you. Your words are too fast. I really can't get the meaning of what it is. That's what is my feedback when I saw my first speech video. But I'm sure I'm much better than my first speech, what I'm doing. That's what we learn from Toastmasters, and you always maximize your potential. Practicing writing speeches and presenting in a group. Try to put writing a paragraph in an email, and then you'll understand how difficult it is writing. But here in Toastmasters, you're supposed to write a speech for 7 minutes. That is somewhere around 700 to 850 words per each assignment, and you're supposed to deliver it in a meaningful way in 7 minutes. That makes you to think about how to write in crisp way. Try to avoid the junk. Write it to the point. You know? Then build self-confidence. As I speak, when somebody can really estimate his own potential and know his strengths, I think self-confidence comes on its own. We don't need further practice about it. And how it comes in Toastmasters on these particular facts is talking about case studies and getting motivation from the people. But today, my stand here on this is to share with you my experience and how I got transformed in my life as a Toastmaster. It's 2004. I'm a fresh college graduate in an electrical engineering, and I'm so passionate to work only in my industry. That was a boom of software where you can knock any interview and get a good enough package, but I'm more passionate doing work in electrical. And when I faced interviews, I struggled to express my thoughts. And the basic question in any of the interview those times or even today is having self-introduction, you know. I can't manage to speak for 2 minutes, but for somehow I mugged up. I have expressed it in the same speed of words which is I have delivered it in my icebreaker. Some of the people are lucky enough to give me a job, and then I'm really so grateful to them to provide me that opportunity. But what happened later on, I really improved myself in all the technical aspects. I was really knock on to the point, and I tried to push myself to know much of the technical stuff, and that also given me a success in my path. But till when? It's only till 2009. I took a very fast growth despite of my communication problem or my leadership struggle. I cleared my interviews. I placed in a good multinational companies like GE, ABB and all. But then career come to a halt at 2009 because I'm fast, but I'm not thinking far. My journey in my career is to provide leadership, to make successful. It's not to become a technocrat or try to limit my world and think only in a smaller place. I want to think big. And that's when I took this booster journey of Toastmasters. And then, believe me, I'm in my same organization from 2012 to till date, and I continue to be it. That's my plan. But the only difference is it's almost 3 consecutive promotions. And the reason for all these 3 consecutive promotions is not a magic. The difference only I did is, whenever I had a discussion with my manager or any of my senior, I always insisted to give me more feedback. Because feedback is the only thing which will really make you work on the topics which you really wanted to focus on, and these are the areas where you should really focus on. And even at the end of my performance appraisal, I know bringing negative points in that session will affect my monitor benefits. But I'm dare enough to do that because I want to know my original feedback. I don't want to make up my performance evaluation. So that is the reason why the manager trusted me and have given me a more challenging projects. And that can be only successful when I manage my team better. And how do I manage my team better? Because of a Toastmaster. Is it a simple magic that will work on, like you will join Toastmasters today and you will be a leader tomorrow? Definitely not. It comes by time, it comes by experience, and whenever you do the roles on a sequential basis to the purpose what it is defined for, then you will focus more on it. And how it can happen in Toastmasters is just because of one wonderful tool called Pathways. That's the educational program which will really trigger you to do that. And in this Pathways program, we have 11 paths which are defined as dynamic leadership, leadership skills, motivational strategy, persuasive influence, presentation mastery. These are the 11 paths where you have to focus or you have to choose on which skill you need to develop. And all these 11 are based and constructed in such a wonderful way that these are the current needs of the industry, and everything happens digitally. This is the new education program that is launched by Toastmasters International, and it is one of the super good program where I think every office scenario what we face is virtually simulated here, and when you attend the project you will get to know about it. I'll take a good glimpse on it in the next slide, but all the 5 core competencies, again, they will focus on public speaking, leadership skills and management, etc. So these are the 11 paths, and then within the 11 paths you have to complete 5 levels. Level 1 and level 2 of each of these 11 paths are most of the times common, they are the basic stuff. But as you go deep into the levels, like if I take persuasive influence, understanding conflict resolution, this is something which is familiar in offices nowadays. No, everybody has a different idea. You need to get into conflict resolution. Leading in difficult situation, managing in change, lead any situation, high performance leadership, manage a successful event, manage difficult audience. It's now with this generation change of new millennials and all joining up, managing a full team with diversified generation is not an easy task, you know. You have to groom up your leadership skills. So you pick any of it randomly, it is something relevant to your office or something relevant to your day-to-day work style. And the way it works is each of these projects, you will be given tips on how to successfully achieve this project. Let's say for reaching consensus, you will be given a 5 to 7 minutes or even more consecutive video lectures in your Toastmaster login ID where you will browse through, and with that information what you receive, you are supposed to give a 5 to 7 minutes or 7 to 11 minutes speech, and then you will receive a feedback on that particular session. So each of it has a very constructive material digital learning platform inside, and then you're supposed to give the feedback on that. And I'm sure you can, even they have encouraged humor in this, maybe that's not for self-esteem, but for all others who are really struggling to make some jokes, including me. Good. As I said, what is the key thing in Toastmasters? It's all about giving feedback. I think that's the heart of Toastmasters, be it evaluation, because as I said, feedback is breakfast for champions, and it will make and break leaders. So how you grow in Toastmasters? This is the way. Now, the last success path is the highest distinction DTM Dilip, which he already achieved, but we all are somewhere in between the Toastmasters who are attending this session, but you eventually start this on the left side of this, and you take it to 2 journeys parallelly, and one of it is education journey through the pathways. So when you complete any of these 2 levels for all the level 5s, you are eligible for a DTM project, and then parallelly you will be going through a leadership transformation. So you will mentor a club, like Rahna did. If somebody has followed Rahna's introduction, she is a mentor for Greens Club. And I am a mentor for a club, the Keynoters Club. Dinesh is a mentor for a club. And then you will be sponsoring the youth leadership activities like Gavel's Club, which were mentioned by Naveen. And then you are supposed to serve as a leadership role for club officer, and then the district officer. So all this leadership journey and education journey is combined, and then you will be completing the highest accreditation in Toastmasters called DTM. Is there any timeline for this? Definitely no. It's own your self-pace. That's the only thing. This is the anatomy of the club, how it works. I am sure in this demo meeting we will be covering this structure much in advance, so I will not spend much time on this. And this is how the people will grow in their leadership journey. This is just to show examples where he said one of the Indian is currently the president, and one of the past immediate president was an Arab guy from UAE as well. He's a lieutenant colonel in Dubai Police. So he served in the world headquarters in USA for Toastmasters. So this is a completely parallel leadership program which will help you as an effective leader. And are we the only club which we are thinking about, or are we the only corporate thinking about? Definitely not. People are much advanced, and now GE has its own corporate club. We have McDermott, Cummins, Cisco, IBM. All the big shots are looking about because they want to invest in people. And I'd like to summarize my presentation with this simple table. This is the futures, benefits, value to the member, and value to the organization. I only focus on this because this is the key element: evaluation and feedback. What you really get as a member for this is your listening skills and constructive feedback, and what you get from here is increased self-awareness and positive mentoring, and what you get as an organization is productive teams. Productive teams, I really emphasize that word because that is the only one biggest challenge which is lacking in any organization now. bringing productivity in teams. You know, that's the key area which I'd like to focus on this slide. Otherwise, all these benefits will definitely add value to the organization. So all in all, what I'd like to say is that Toastmasters is your everyday selfie program. It is only for you. It will allow you to grow and it will allow you to invent new you. Thank you.